Okay, friends, good morning. So, today we are starting a series of communication. As you know, communication is very, very important. Wherever we are working, either in a bank or any organization, it is very essential that you have the good communication skills, right? So, it can be in any language, it can be in Hindi, or local, or English. So, communication is very, very important when you're talking to the customer or your seniors or colleagues. So what is being communicated, what is being said, whatever knowledge that we have, if it is not communicated properly, things won't reach the customer, right? So in this, I'm taking you these screenshots because if you feel like you can note it down while it is being done, while I'm communicating with you, right? So first we'll discuss with the 7 C's of communication, right? Think how often you communicate with people during the day. You write emails, facilitate meetings, participate in conference calls, create reports, devise presentations, debate with your colleagues, and list goes on. So for us, it is, I think, when we are talking with the customers or conference calls, con calls are there, business meetings are there. So how we communicate is very, very important. We may be having a lot of knowledges within ourselves, but if you're not a good speaker, if you not communicate, things won't reach to the place where it should be, right? So we can spend almost our entire day communicating. It stands to reason that communicating clearly and effectively can boost productivity. That is why the 7 C's of communication are helpful. The 7 C's provide a checklist for making sure that your meetings, emails, conference calls, reports, presentations, or engagement with the customers is right. It's constructed clear. So your audience gets your message. Communicating your knowledge about the product processes is very, very important. So in this presentation, I'll be looking at the 7 C's of communication and illustrate each element with both good and bad examples, right? So you can note it down while you are seeing this video, while you're seeing this. That's why I kept myself out of this. So just you can see the what is I am communicating. It is showing on your screen, so you can note it down. I'll go slowly and so that you can listen to me and you can watch it again and again, right? Okay. So you can see 7 C's are the message. Whatever you want to communicate should be very clear. There should not be any ambiguity. There should not be vague, right? So whatever you're trying to communicate to your customers or you communicate to your seniors during con calls or your colleagues, your communication should be very clear. What do you have to speak? What words you have to choose? What do you want to convey should be actually clear. Then concise. Concise means short, to the point and short, right? Don't make it very lengthy. If you keep on speaking and speaking to the customers, you'll get bored, right? And suppose if you're having your con calls and all that, so your seniors don't want to listen you long hours. They just want to the point, whatever facts you're trying to communicate. The first is clear, second is concise, short and but crispy, clear. Third is concrete, means there should not be any jargons, there should not be any other words which are not related what you're trying to communicate. And it should be, fourth is correct. So what you were trying is correct. Figures or anything, product knowledge, process knowledge, you should have the knowledge. And knowledge is one thing that as a banker you keep on learning throughout your life. Coherent. When you're speaking, you should not be shaky, your voice should be clear, your communication should be very, very clear, coherent. You should not fumble. So you must think before speaking, jot down the points, or learn the points in your brain, and then speak very coherently, right? In a serial manner, what you are trying to communicate. Sixth is complete. Complete means whatever you're trying, don't miss out on anything, right? Again, your knowledge is very important. So whatever you're trying to convey should be complete. Whatever you're trying to convey, either it is email, don't leave out anything, don't leave out any portion of it, so that message won't be clear. It should be very, very clear whatever you're trying to communicate. And last is being courteous. You have to be very, very courteous when you're talking, communicating with the customers or your seniors or your colleagues. So what I say is, whatever behavior you expect from your seniors, the same you should talk to your customers, the same way you should talk to your colleagues, the same way you should talk to your seniors. So you have to be very, very courteous when you're writing emails, be thankful for their time, or when you're meeting with the customers, always seek permission to have a word with them either over the phone or personally. And after you have finished your conversations or whatever work you are supposed to do with the customers, always thank him. So very nice of you for giving your valuable time to me, so that he feels important. And these are part of etiquettes also, right? So remember, clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. Now, one by one, I'll very briefly I'll explain what these seven are. Although I have tried to explain whatever in my language own, whatever the is there, I'll try and explain again. Right? Okay. The first example is clear. When writing an email or speaking to someone, be clear about your goals and messages. Suppose you have gone to sell a product to a customer. You should have full knowledge about the product, full knowledge about the process, how it will be done, in what time gap it will be done, what is your purpose in communicating with this purpose, why have you come. If you're not sure, then your audience won't be either. To be clear, try to minimize the number of ideas in each sentences. Make sure that easy for your reader or listener to understand what you're trying to say. People shouldn't have to read between the lines and make assumptions on their own to understand what you're trying to say. Suppose if you're not properly communicated, he'll be guessing as okay, you're trying to say this. He'll be just imagining in his head. So crisp and clear. The bad example is, hi John, I wanted to write to you a quick note about Daniel who's working in your department. He's a great asset. I'd love to talk to you more about him when you have time. Best. So this is a very vague email that has been written. Otherwise, if he wanted to communicate, he could have written it here. So it's a very bad example, right? So what is this email about? Nothing is there. Why he wanted to talk more about him. So he should be, if suppose if he's communicating about Daniel, so what is the purpose of communicating about the Daniel, the person, to John? Should have been made clear here itself, right? First, there is a multiple Daniels in John's department. John's won't know who's to skip he's talking about. Next day, what Daniel is doing specifically. That's so great. We don't know if it is what is the topic, what is the purpose of this mail. Should have been made in clear here itself. Right? Now, for the same good example is, hi John, I wanted to write to you a quick note about Daniel Kedar. So he has given a full name here. Maybe so many Daniels may be there or may not be there. Who's working in your department? In recent weeks, he's helped the IT department through several process deadlines on his own time. We have got a tough upgrade project due to run over the next 3 months, and his knowledge and skills will prove invaluable. Could we please have this help with this work? I'd appreciate speaking with you about this. When is the best time to call you to discuss this further? Best wishes, Skip. But this is more clearer. So here it is, Daniel Kedar has helped the IT department with his own tact, completing his projects in time. So he just wanted to discuss so that tough upgrade projects due to run over next 3 months. So there are so many projects coming up. So he just want to discuss about Daniel Kedar, that he can be of help to the company. This is how we can. So I've quoted you one example here. Second is concise, short but clear. Whenever you concise in your communication, you stick to the points and keep it very brief. I told you, right? Very small. I mean, to the point. Your audience doesn't want to read 6 sentences when you could communicate your message in 3, right? You don't have to give a bhashan or any some thing to your customers or to your seniors, right? You don't have to give any lamba chauda bhashan to your customer, right? So are there any adjectives or filler words that you can delete? You can often eliminate words like, for instance, you see, definitely, kind of, literally, basically, I mean. So these should be avoided. Are there any unnecessary sentences? Have you repeated the point several times in a different way? So each point should be communicated in a sentence, two or three, but it should not be repeated again and again, right? So another example is this: Hi Matt, I wanted to touch base with you about the email marketing campaign we kind of sketched out last Thursday. I really think that our target market is definitely going to want to see the company's philanthropic effort. I think we could make a big impact and it would stay in their minds longer than a sales pitch. For instance, if we talk about the company's efforts to become sustainable as well as the charity work we are doing for local schools, then the people that we want to attract are going to remember our messages longer. The impact will be just greater. What do you think, Jessica? This email is too long. There is a repetition. There is a plenty of filler taking up space. Concise would be is, Hi Matt, I wanted to quickly discuss the email marketing campaign that we analyzed last Thursday. Our target market will want to know about the company's philanthropic efforts, especially our goals to become sustainable and help local schools. This would make a far greater impact and it would stay in their minds longer than a traditional sales pitch. What do you think, Jessica? So this is a good example, right? So now third one is concrete. When your message is concrete, your audience has a clear picture of what you are telling. There are details but not too many. Vivid facts. There is a laser-like focus. So have you seen the laser? Focuses. It burns. When laser is put on a paper or anything, it burns it. I mean, just totally focused, straight in line. Your message is solid. Bad example. Consider this advertising copy. The lunchbox wizard will save you time every day. A statement like this probably won't sell many of these products. There is no passion, no vivid details, nothing that creates emotion, nothing that tells people in their audience why they should care. The message doesn't concrete enough to make a difference. The lunchbox wizard will save you time every day. So this is a bad example. Good example is, how much time do you spend every day packing your kids' lunches? No more. Just take a complete lunchbox wizard from your refrigerator each day to give your kids a healthy lunch and have more time to play or read with them. So this is conveying. So are you spending more time for packing up your kids' lunches? So there are just lunchbox wizards are there. Take it out from the refrigerator, pack them with the food that you have cooked and deliver to your kids, right? So this is a concrete message. What is trying being conveyed? You can easily make out the bad example and the good example. Bad example: the lunchbox wizard will save you time every day. No clue, nothing what he's trying to convey. So, what message are you trying to convey should be concrete. The fourth one is correct. It should be correct, right? There should not be any mistakes, right? When your communication is correct, your audience will be able to understand it. And correct communication is also error-free communication. Make sure your message is correct by asking yourself the following questions. Do the technical terms you use fit your audience level of education or knowledge? Have you checked your writing for grammatical errors? Right? The technical terms are very important. All the names and titles spelled correctly. Don't misspell anything, right? That gives a very wrong message. Or when you're communicating verbally also, you should take the proper name. The bad example is, Hi Daniel, thanks so much for meeting me at lunch today. I enjoyed our conversation and I'm looking forward to moving ahead on our project. I'm sure that 2 week deadline won't be an issue. Thanks again and I'll speak to you soon. Best, Jack Miller. If you read the example fast, then you might not have caught any errors, but on closer inspection, you'll find two. Can you see them? Any one of you? The first error is that writer accidentally typed conservation instead of conversation. This gives a very bad idea. Or whenever you're speaking verbally, if you mispronounce any word, that gives a wrong message. I've seen some people, bankers, having this when they use sir for sure, sure for sir. That gives a horrible presentation of ourselves. This common error can happen when you are typing too fast. The other error is using week instead of week, right? Week is kamzor hona. Week is actually 7 days. Again, spell checks won't catch words error like this. So if you're typing it, it won't catch it. It will give you a warning, but you have to ensure that you are going into it. Fifth one is coherent. When you communicate, communication is coherent, it's logical. So it should be logical, serial wise. All points are connected and relevant to the main topics, and the tone and flow of the text is consistent, right? So I'll just read this bad example. Tracy, I wanted to write to you a quick note about the report you finished last week. I gave it to Michelle to proof, and she wanted to make sure that you knew about the department meetings we are having this Friday. We'll be creating an outline for our new employees handbook, right? So good example would be, hi Tracy, I wanted to write to you a quick note about the report you finished last week. I gave it to the Michelle to proof, and she let me know that there are a few changes that you will need to make. She'll email you her detailed comments later this afternoon. Thanks, Michelle. Right. So this is a proper way. You could have seen communication was not coherent. It should be stepwise. Okay? It was given to so and so. She, for proof, she read it and she wants that there are certain changes which need to be done, and it will be emailed to you for necessary being done. Notice that in good example, Michelle does not mention Friday meeting, right? So this is because the meeting reminder should be an entirely separate mail. So this is something different. Why you're mixing up the two things, meeting and the correction in the report. So this way, Tracy can delete report feedbacks emails after she makes the changes, but save the email about the meetings as a reminder to attend. Each email has only one main topic, so you should try and convey only one message through one mail. If there are two messages, there should be two separate mails. Don't mix up the two messages, right? The last and sixth C is complete. There should not be any gaps. It is complete message. The audience has everything they need to be informed. If applicable, take an action. Does your message include call to action? We call it CTA, so that your audience clearly knows what you want them to do in case if it is required. Have you included all relevant information? Contact names, dates, times, locations, and so on. Whatever with it. But example is, hi everyone, I just wanted to send you all a reminder about meeting we are having tomorrow. See you then, Chris, right? So this message is not complete for obvious reasons. What meeting, when it is, where, what is the purpose of this meeting? Chris has left his team without necessary information. This is a very bad example. So the good example would be, hi everyone, I just wanted to remind you about tomorrow's meeting on the new telecommunication policies. This meeting will be at 10 a.m. in the second floor conference room. Please let me know if you can't attend. See you then, Chris. Now the timing, which floor, what is the purpose of the meeting, that is telecommunicating policies. There has to be some discussion, what time it is, so it should be complete, right? There should not be any gaps. If you send this, people will start guessing what meeting, yeah, where is it, what is it all about. That will be a wastage of time of everyone. And the last C of the 7 C's of communication is courteous. Very important. Courteous communication is friendly, open, and honest. There are no hidden insults or passive aggressive tones. You keep your reader's viewpoint in mind. You are empathetic to their needs. Bad example. Zeph, I wanted to let you know that I don't appreciate how your team always monopolizes the discussion at our weekly meetings. I have a lot of projects and I really need time to get my team's progress discussed as well. So far, thanks to your department, I haven't been able to do that. Can you make sure that they make the time for me and my team next week? Thanks, Phil. Well, here, this hardly courteous message like this can potentially start office-wide fights. There can be conflicts. When you're talking to your customer, you have to be very courteous. Always, can I have a few minutes of you to discuss something important for your life or for your that have to offer you from the bank. So you have to seek permission after the meeting is over. Always thank them for giving their valuable time to us. Make him feel important. Every customer says, value me, value my time, value my money, right? And this email does not but create bad feelings. So he is written, your team always monopolizes the discussion. So this is not a good way of expressing something. I mean, you can't write like monopolizes, right? Uh, this email does nothing but create bad feelings, which can lower productivity or morale of the team. A little bit of courtesy, even in difficult situation, can go in a long way. So he could have. It's a very negative example. There's no positivity in the message, right? So if the same thing was to be communicated in a positive way, would have been, hi Jeff, I wanted to write to you a quick note to ask a favor. It's very positive. Favor. The recipient will feel really humbled at this word. During our weekly meetings, your team does an excellent job of highlighting the progress. Again, very positive sentence, but this uses some of the time available for my team to highlight this. I'd really appreciate if you could give me and my team a little extra time each week to cover their progress reports. It's a very nice way of asking. So there is no negativity, there is no bad mouthing, anything that he's trying to convey through this email. Thanks so much, and please let me know if there is anything I can do for you. So he is offering himself for any. This is very nice reciprocity that Phil is showing towards Jeff. Best, what a difference! This email is courteous, friendly. It has little chance of spreading bad feelings around the office. So we discussed 7 C's of the communication, right? So you can note it down. You would have noted down. You can go through video again. So remember these points. Either you're writing, and some of you are in the banks, working in the banks, writing emails. So it's very, very important to whom those emails are being written. What is the purpose of the email? It should be crux and concise. We call it KISS. Keep it short and simple, right? So you have to KISS, right? That has to be there. So always be courteous when you're talking to the customers, communicating with the customers. Be polite, be humble, be grounded, be focused. This is how we can do communication, right? So let's go ahead. So there are few variations of the 7 C's of communication. Credible. Does your message improve or highlight your credibility? Your credibility is very important. This is especially important when communicating with the audience that does not know how much about you. Or creative. Does your message communicate your main points creatively? Creative communication can help keep your audience engaged. You can add these to 7 C's, credible and creative. If you can be very, very creative, you can use sense of humor or being polite or very nice, and so don't have to be negative. So what we have discussed is key points are: the better we communicate, the more credibility we'll have with our clients, our boss and our co-workers. Use the 7 C's of communication as a checklist for all your communications. By doing this, you'll stay clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. I hope I was able to drill some knowledge into you about communication, and communication is very, very important wherever we are serving the customers, right? What we speak, how we speak, what is our tone, what is our courtesy, what is our etiquettes, right? So now, as I told you, I've been telling in earlier videos also, future jobs would be involving more of people skills, how you handle people, right? So if you don't handle people nicely by communicating badly or improperly, and you lose the business. So now communication is one aspect of people skills that you have to develop in times to come. The better you become, the better results you will deliver to your organization, and your organization hires you for results, not for efforts, right? So every communication is very important. The time you are giving, the amount of energy that you are giving should bring in sufficient results so that you succeed in your results, right? Thank you.